It was 1981. I was 8 and my family was on our way down to Mexico to go sailing. My brother and I were in the back seat doing what siblings do, arguing. He said, "You're ugly." So I responded the same. Then he said, "Well, you have a lump in your neck." And I said, "Well, you have a lump in your neck." My mom quickly turned around in the front seat and said, "Where?" And my brother pointed at my lump and said, "Right there." And I pointed at his and said, right there. That was the day I found out that boys have Adam's apples and girls don't. In fact, girls aren't supposed to have lumps in their neck at all. My mom called my doctor when we got home from our trip. His advice was to just wait and see what happens, and it would probably go away on its own. Luckily, my mother didn't listen. She took me to her ear, nose, and throat doctor. The next thing I knew, I was seeing a pediatric surgeon and a lumpectomy was scheduled. Following my lumpectomy, I was only able to eat broth and Jell-O. The doctors finally promised me a milkshake, but that's when we got the news: thyroid cancer. My mom fainted. Since I had no idea what thyroid cancer was, I just wondered if it meant I wasn't going to get my milkshake. I didn't get it. Instead, I got scheduled for a total thyroidectomy to be performed a few days later. The cancer was in both sides of my thyroid and had already spread to my windpipe. So it would be surgery and the protocol of the day, a large dose of radioactive iodine. I always felt like a bit like an outcast as a child, and certainly having childhood thyroid cancer solidified that. I didn't have a normal childhood cancer. I didn't have normal childhood cancer treatment, and I wasn't in the pediatric oncology ward. I was in nuclear medicine, the bomb shelter of the hospital. My treatment came in a lead container that no one was supposed to go near. They squirted water in a tiny bottle inside of it, and I had to drink it. No one could go near it, but I had to drink it. Seemed safe. Once I was able, I went back to school, but having just gone through surgery for thyroid cancer, no one would sit near me. They were all afraid that they might catch cancer too. Other kids asked if I smoked. There was a big campaign going on at that time about how smoking caused lung cancer. Since kids don't know really the difference between one cancer and another, they just assumed I was puffing away during recess. Over the next 2 years, my cancer was controlled, but then we got word that it had spread to my lungs and my lymph nodes. In scans, the spots on my lungs looked like lights on a Christmas tree, so decisions had to be made. After some thought on my doctor's part, it was decided that despite my age, now 10, I would have the maximum adult dose of radioactive iodine. Because I gave off radioactivity, I was in the hospital isolation unit. There was a sign on my door that said, "Caution radiation." I was the radiation. They taped safety lines around my bed that indicated how close you could be to me without being exposed to radiation. Every few hours, a doctor would come in with a Geiger counter and move the tape marks back. My dad was very excited about all of this because it was right before Christmas and I was emitting so much radiation, he figured he didn't have to put up Christmas lights that year. He'd just put me on the roof and Santa would easily find me wet. I was in 5th grade when I was finally declared in remission. And I guess that's the moment my second act began. I wanted to volunteer as much as I could, given my age. Mostly it was raising money for the American Cancer Society and the Arizona Cancer Center. But I often felt like a fish out of water. By the time I turned 16, I had never met another child with thyroid cancer, or any kind of cancer. When I would tell people I had cancer, they would say, "Oh, leukemia?" I'd say, "No." They would either lose interest or ask, "Well, did you lose your hair?" When I would say no, I would get a look from them suggesting that maybe I didn't have a real cancer. When I first started seeing childhood cancer events, I didn't go. I didn't fit in it. Even when I wanted to volunteer with children with cancer, I was put with the siblings. Only kids with normal childhood cancer could relate to current patients, and it was assumed I couldn't. So I volunteered at Arizona Sunrise Sidekicks, a camp for brothers and sisters of kids with cancer. The upside of that was that I got a little peek into how it must have been to be my brother when I was going through treatment. I was able to do that until 5 years, until my migraines caused me to stop. There's a lot of physical fallout when you don't have a thyroid. Rapid heart rate, depression, hair loss, and more severe migraines. Having gone through 2 diagnoses, surgeries, hospitalizations, and of course my glow juice treatment of radioactive iodine, I had decided at a young age that I was going to be the one to cure cancer. But my brains just weren't on board. So I decided to advocate for money for the people whose brains were. That's when I joined the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network. I have been to both the state capitol and Washington, D.C. to lobby for more funding for cancer research. I continued volunteering at many different places, and I finally was lucky enough to get hired by the Ronald McDonald House as a weekend manager. Then, 6 years ago, my second act dream came true, a job with the American Cancer Society. Now I work as a patient navigator, helping patients find the resources they need to get their treatment. I'm so glad to do what I do, but I never feel like I've done enough. There are support groups for adults who are survivors of rare childhood cancers. And I often don't feel like I fit into the adult cancer survivor world either. Even the medical world doesn't really know what to do with me. A doctor once called me to tell me my tumor marker was high, but he didn't know what that meant. I did. It meant I had cancer again. So I had more blood tests and a chest x-ray, where the technician asked why I was having a chest x-ray. I told her that I had had metastatic thyroid cancer as a child and they were worried it might have come back. Her response, "Are they sure it was cancer?" As I remembered my 2 surgeries and multiple radioactive iodine treatments, I responded, "They seemed pretty sure." I want to help change all that. I want to see a day where no more children get cancer. And those that do have less long-term side effects, something I'm very familiar with. Many childhood cancer survivors cannot have children. In fact, I was told I could not have children either. Luckily, this was yet another time in my life a doctor was wrong. My 10-year-old son's in the audience as proof. So the fight goes on and my work goes on. I hope this view from another perspective, a voice from another kind of cancer survivor, will help you understand my passion, my drive, my second act.